Hello, comic book fans. Today we're talking about the Terminal Issue 2. I have a lot more criticisms about this than the first book, and that is, I would guess you can consider the writing and the direction that the characters are being pushed into, while also in the world with the choices that these characters are making. And it picks up a while after issue 1. And if you remember what happened in issue 1, that video, we have a character and her sister tried to join. Her sister tried to get her powers awakened, and she died in the process because her powers didn't awaken, so she just died. Now, here's one of my biggest criticisms of this specific issue and the character of Asandra altogether. Now, we understand that her sister died, and we understand how that can be emotional and how how it happened is very traumatizing. But one of her teammates, he just tries to be decent, nice, or whatever, and she cracks him across the face. And if he wasn't superhuman, right? If he didn't have any of his abilities, she would have definitely killed him because her main thing is super strength and endurance, etc. And she cracks him across the face, and as you can see in these panels, she just goes absolutely berserk on him. And in the process, attempted murder on her own teammate. And reminder, she is team leader, so you are the leader, treating your team like this. And regardless of the situation, if you are the team leader of something major like how this is being presented to us, you should not be doing that as inexcusable. And I just simply don't agree with that move. And we have these other characters that are revealing themselves, and I think this guy was human at first, and when he got his powers awakened, he turned into this monster of some sort. It looks like a few different monsters fused into one, and it just shows us that your powers and your abilities can really be anything. Like, you can get something just like as simple as laser eyes, or it can be something else as magnitude, as turn into a giant monster of some sort. My other criticisms of this book is the design of the characters. Now, I think I understand what they were going for, but I also feel like the characters need to be more colorful, because a lot of this is really dull in how the characters, how the color schemes are on the characters, and just simply how they look. The color schemes are dull, and the characters' names, I would say, aren't that good either. It's very simple and to the point, and I understand with that aspect they're trying to be a lot like X-Men, right? But a lot of the X-Men names, depending on the character, is kind of straightforward, right? Like Angel, Storm, Quicksilver, etc. But I feel like the names should have been a little bit more creative in that aspect. And another thing about this story that I think, now I'm not obviously the most known writer, right? I'm not known at all, to be fair, but I have done my fair share of helping writers with their comics and with their books, if it's comics or a full-fledged novel. And depending on the direction you're trying to go, I would have went a little bit more obscure with the layout of the story, because like I said in the first video talking about this feels a lot like X-Men / Harbingers from Valiant Comics, with just how the setup is, and the writing, the choices that's being made here. You can skip ahead of the story and you would be correct on the direction that they're going. It's very obvious what is going to take place next. And again, the head of this team, her choice and how she is horrible. She should not be a team leader if she cannot control her emotions, attacking your own teammates, not listening to the mission, etc. And they hop from her being emotional about her sister Two, something, the mission itself doesn't seem right. Breaker stating that, the lead character, the female in the story, Breaker, her saying that, it's just plot leading the story along. There's actually nothing said that would leave her to believe that there's something that's not being shared with the team about the mission. And with that, what comes next is the character Tyler. He was at the ending of the last book. What he's actually doing is not shared in this story, but he's on some form of a mission where the team has to go. And again, I'm going to come back to this. The designs of the characters, right? This team that's supposed to be the heroes, the designs that they have, again, it's very dull, right? And I'm not saying you have to add a bunch of stuff, right? Like how, certain characters are overly done in design. But if you want to be simple, but you want to be memorable as well, right? The examples I would give is Rippaverse has Isom, Yara, and characters like that, where the suits, the outfits, the gear, it's very simple, but it's very memorable. As soon as you look at it, you know exactly who that is. I don't get that from these characters. Somebody could be walking around a Comic-Con or a con with one of these outfits, and I would have no idea what it is, just because of how bland and how bland the suits are in the story. One thing I will say is that on the villain side, right, these are supposed to be the bad guys. They're a lot more memorable than the supposed heroes are. Their outfits, their designs, and the characters themselves, I find to be a lot more intriguing, and their designs to be a lot more memorable than what the heroes are doing. And what's happening in the story is that both sides came to this factory, came to this place, and now it's pretty much mayhem. And the mission's probably going to go south because of it. Because not only did Breaker, again, be a terrible team and not actually do the mission, she went around being nosy, got her team hurt, right? So now her team is already injured, and then now they're in this fight that this pretty much feels like an ambush from the villain side of the spectrum. And so they're kind of getting cooked. Yet Breaker's doing her thing, but the outcome of this is going to be lethal and critical for somebody on the hero side. In the last page of this book, I don't know if this is actually in the factory or this is who the villains are talking to, but it looks gory, it looks insane. It's actually one of the only highlights of this book, in my opinion. I will read issue 3 to see what happens next. And that's all I have for this video. Again, thank you guys for watching this video. Like, share, and subscribe for more. And thank you for watching.